wondered what therapy is like or what your loved ones talk about when they are with their therapist? Well, now you can be a fly on the wall in a real therapy session, an unnoticed observer. During this episode, you'll hear a real group therapy session with a modern twist. Our group therapy sessions are done as a mock podcast where participants are encouraged to have open dialogue about their mental health and addiction challenges. As an observer of this episode, we hope that you will learn something helpful for those among us whose struggles often go unnoticed. All personally identifiable information has been removed for the privacy of the participants. Thank you for listening.
Welcome to Rehab, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Hey, we all go, hey. Babadook returns to the podcast.
Once again.
And you've been here for how long?
Almost a week.
Cool. Well, we'll have to get filled in on the story. But we also have somebody new who goes by
Poodle. Nice to meet everyone.
Hey, welcome, Poodle.
Thank you.
So, how long have you been here for?
I've only been here since Friday, so what does that make? 4 days? 4 days, right?
Mm-hmm, I think
4 or
so.
5.
That sounds about the right thing.
Yeah.
So, because it's your first day, and we'll both get to know both of you, and you can kind of give me like a little rundown of your story, and then this is the Media Expressive group, so you could talk about anything here.
Okay.
And sometimes we get serious. Babadook will tell you. Sometimes it's informal, and it's kind of just how the group feels. So let's start by hearing about you.
Well, I'm from a small town, and I tend to struggle a lot with my drug addiction and my mental health.
Okay.
I started using when I was probably 14 or 13. It's been a really rocky road for me. I've been on and off using prescription, hallucinogenics, marijuana. And now I'm here because I've finally taken that step in my life to realize that, change is needed.
All right, well, what brought it on?
Definitely the fact that I started to really decrease my level of, socialization.
Yeah.
And I just completely...
Sounding very clinical right now.
Yeah,
My
me.
socialization was decreasing to a...
That's just how I speak,
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
Really?
yes, it totally is.
It is?
Yeah, ask
Wow,
Babadook.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Poodle.
Yes, Poodle. So, coming here was a big step for me because it took a lot to finally come to the realization. But I think what actually made me realize what was, setting me off was my family, and it made me use because I felt like I really didn't fit into my family.
Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? Why do you feel you don't fit into your family?
My family, my brother's a very good student. He's a very good kid. He gets everything done that he needs to. I consider myself more the black sheep of the family. Mm-hmm. I get into trouble, I do drugs, and I'm always blamed for something.
You consider yourself that, or you are that?
I am that, actually.
But I mean, that in your assessment?
Yes, I honestly do think I am the black sheep of the family.
But do you feel like you identify that way?
Not...
that's my question, really. It's is it an identity that you...
That I've taken on?
Taken on, or is it... People would say that about you, but you don't feel that way?
I feel that I have taken it on. Since I always see my mom praise my brother, it kind of makes me want to act out more, get her attention somehow. Mm-hmm. So that's the only way I could really grab her attention, I thought.
What do you mean when you say you were socializing decreased? Because that's even too clinical for me to, what does that mean? You weren't talking to anyone?
No, I completely isolated myself for about a year and a half. It was just me and my boyfriend, and I didn't talk to anyone else. I completely stopped using social media, stopped using everything, my phone in general, and it just became me, my boyfriend, and drugs.
And was he also on drugs?
Not as much as me. He just dabbled with marijuana as I got into the more heavier stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, lots more questions because
Of course.
we've only really heard about the addiction side of it. But when I say I want to hear about you, I want to hear all about you. Like,
Right.
not just the addiction stuff. But Babadook, back again. Let's get a short summary of your story and then fill us in on where you've been.
I came last time for anxiety, depression, right? Mm-hmm. And then this time I'm coming because when I went home, I went back to some of the irresponsible and inappropriate and unsafe habits that I had before I came.
Like what? What are we talking about?
Like sexually, like I was very like sexual. Like I went back to all the guys that I hooked up with, and I hooked up with all of them again. And then I started hooking up with like thousands of people. Like literally, like I used to have like before rehab, I literally had like 10 people I hooked up with. Now it's like triple. It's like literally 30, 40 people. And I just like, I couldn't handle being like just, I felt so low of myself because I was hooking up with so much people that I wanted to come back and like refresh myself.
Why do you think it happened?
What happened?
That you wound up hooking up with more people when you got out of...
I don't know. I was, obviously something was missing inside of me that I wanted to fill up the pain to make myself feel better, but
let's talk about like the first few days of when you got back from...
Oh, that was good. Like I was good for the first few days, and then I met up with one of my guy friends that I hooked up with, and first of all, I had a boyfriend then, right? You remember?
I remember you talking about it.
Yeah, and he cheated on me, so I broke up with him. So I was very pained. So I hooked up with a different guy, and then it just gradually increased to like tons of guys, like at least 3 guys a week.
Where are you finding all these guys?
On the street.
Street guys.
Yeah, literally.
Hey.
AIDS guy.
Really? Just people walking the street?
I literally hooked up with like a literal. I was friends with like all these guys, and they're all like, we were playing truth or dare, and one of the dares was like, the next person that passes by, you have to kiss him. Mm-hmm. And I was literally holding my breath, and this guy passes by, this really like creepy looking guy, and he just like passes by. He's like walking with his headphones in, and I'm like, oh shit, I have to kiss him. Okay, so I walk up to him, and I'm like, hey, can I have a cigarette? So he's like, yeah, sure. He gives me a cigarette, and then I was like, how about another cigarette? He's like, okay. He gives me a few cigarettes. Like he gives me like 7 cigarettes, and I'm like, can I just have the whole pack? So he's like, nah. So basically, I was like, how about I do anything to get? This is how I got like kissed him, because I was my dear. So I was like, how about I do anything to get that back? He's like, really, you do anything? I was like, yep. So he's like, what will you do? I was like, I don't know, you want me to kiss you? He's like, okay. And I kissed him, and he's like, okay, now you got my whole pack. And it was just like, I was acting like a complete retard. Like, I wasn't thinking about my future. I was just thinking about like now, like what I want to feel good to be now. Like, I wasn't thinking about like, I also came back for anxiety and depression, because obviously I was only doing this because I had a depression. Because people without depression, like people that feel totally healthy and happy, they wouldn't do those stuff. Like only people that are like depressed and anxious would do those stuff.
Yeah, maybe it sounds like you're almost in like a manic state or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But like you weren't yourself for sure.
Right.
And I wonder, like, what about all this stuff from rehab before? Did any of that resurface for you?
What do you mean?
Throughout, like, any of the stuff that we talked about?
I don't remember anything. Like, that's the thing. Like, I also did a lot of marijuana. So, like, my brain just, like, I totally lost, like, tons of brain cells. Like, I do not remember anything I learned from
Was it hard for you to leave that?
No, I actually wanted to leave really badly.
But what about when you got back? Maybe like you didn't have that support system or something.
No, I did have the support system, but a lot of my friends left me because I was manic before I left, so they just like couldn't handle me. So they all dropped me. So I come back and there's like I don't have any girlfriends, and I had like only a few of my guy friends. All they wanted to do was hook up with me, so I hooked up with them because those were my only friends that I had. And then I went to school. And I made a couple of girlfriends, and I made a really good girlfriend. And yeah, so I think now I'm like more like healthy with the girls and everything.
Yeah, it does sound like you didn't have the right support system in terms of your friends. Like you got back and you were looking for love and support, and I get it. I think like, you know, your girlfriends weren't there, and so you were like, okay, what do I have to do to get some love and support around here? And so you just went to what you knew how to do.
Right. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. It doesn't make you seem crazy or anything, like you were saying.
No, I'm not crazy. I'm just.
I know, but you said you didn't know what you were doing or whatever, you know. But I feel like you knew what you were doing. It's just like it wasn't the best way to handle it.
Right.
You know?
Before I came there, I was totally manic. Like I was so depressed, so anxious. Mm-hmm. Also, I was like, you know me. Like I got so angry. Like
I know you.
I had major anger issues. Like I literally got mad. Like I think even one time I got mad on the show, on this radio show.
Yeah, I think so.
And what's it called? I was just like a complete maniac. Like
I remember the last time we talked on the podcast, you were like, because you were being very clinical. You were being like you're like, yes, I feel very well adjusted. I feel like I can. And I'm like, you don't have to do that on here. And you're like, I need to get out of here.
I remember I was like, I need to get out of here.
You're like, I need to get out of here. So you were like saying all the things you thought you had to say.
Right.
But you don't have to do that on
Everybody,
here.
I'm crazy. Do not let me leave for at least 5 months.
I think, well, it's great to see you again. I'm glad that you didn't give up and that you came back and you continue fighting. That's what it is, you know? You make a little progress. Sometimes you come back. Then you make some more but I think what people think is like you're supposed to come and you'll be fixed and then that's it. Like you know, just like a car and just like fix the thing but it's not really how life works, you know, in my opinion. I think it's just basically like you make some progress, some of it sticks, some of it doesn't. Then you have to go back and make more progress. And like bit by bit, like you figure out yourself, like you figure out life. And you figure out like how to see yourself and how you function best in the world. But it's not really, I was just talking to, I go to see a nutritionist about trying to lose weight. And I was
how's that going?
It's up and down. It's like the same thing. But, it's like, she pointed out to me the same thing. She's like, look, you made progress. You went back the other way. Now you're making progress again. It's just, you're not back to square one though,
Right.
You still have that, let's say you go a mile and you go back half a mile, you're still half a mile ahead,
Right.
So that's it. I mean, it's just like continuously figuring out what works and you go into therapy and try and understand yourself and understand your brain a little better. And that's where like the real work happens. And I think it's really just about understanding your own brain, understanding why you do the things you do, what triggers you, and the more you get that self-awareness, the better you'll be at recognizing things when they're happening and being like, I know what this is, and I can stop it right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, back to Poodle. And by the way, I don't know if because it's your first time and you haven't been here in a while, you can jump in on each other when you're talking. It's not just I talk to each one of you and then, it's a group conversation.
I know.
So jump in and,
Yeah,
talk to each other throughout it too.
Yeah, I'm just a little shy.
We used to do
It's
really
my first time, I'm a
inappropriate
little
stuff to
shy.
this mic.
Yeah?
We used to do really inappropriate stuff.
By the way, I think you mostly mean you.
What?
I think mostly you. Who else?
Oh, whatever.
No, I just remember it being you, but I feel like you made it everybody.
You made it
You're
like a group effort.
We all used to do this, but the we was maybe just you.
Oh my God.
That's all right. So
Okay.
what's the small town that you're from?
It's very preppy, upper class people. I don't really fit in that well there.
Saying the same thing about your family.
Yeah.
Fitting in.
Yeah.
What does it mean to fit in? I'm curious. Like, what do you guys, on both of you, I'm asking both of you, what do you think it means to fit in?
When you're like everybody else.
I see that in some sense, but at the same time, I feel like it's wherever you feel comfortable and wherever you feel like respected the most.
That means fitting in?
Yeah, well, not technically like fitting in, but like when you fit in with a group, like you feel comfortable with them, you're able to like relate with them, you know?
Have
Like,
either one of you ever felt like you do fit in?
No, I don't fit in. My whole community is religious, and I'm not.
And you never feel like you fit in?
no.
I think, and this is just my theory, I could be wrong. Maybe it's just because I've always hung out with outcasts, but maybe no one feels like they ever fit in.
I agree with it.
I feel like fitting in is a fake societal construct that people impose on other people. They're like, look at them, they all fit in, and I don't fit in. And it's almost like a way to beat yourself up. This is just a theory, by the way. Might be easily disprovable, but I feel like everybody who feels they don't fit in is assuming that everybody else does feel like they fit in. And I feel like nobody really feels like they fit in. I feel like most people just sort of either accept whatever thing is going on around them and do their best to sort of be part of it, or they don't.
Right.
So like, I think the difference between someone who quote unquote fits in and someone who doesn't fit in is almost a sense of complacency. Like, I'll go along with this or I won't. Like, I think fitting in is more of a choice than it is a, like what's the word I'm looking for? Predestined thing. Like, it's not like, I think most people choose to fit in rather than just happen to fit in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. Like when it comes to like quote unquote popular people, they always have that, you know, that same kind of aspect. All the kids kind of do, and I think to myself, like how the only thing I think that really relates them is either sports or activities. But in the end, I think you're right. I think fitting in is just an outlet to make yourself, you know.
I'll tell you the story of no IQ. My buddy, when he was in high school, was in a band. He was a drummer for a band called No IQ, and they were a punk band. And the high school had this big battle of the bands, and they were up against these two other bands. And one of them was like all the popular girls that had formed a band, like 4 really like good-looking popular girls, and they had a band called Rock Candy. And so like No IQ went up and they like played their hearts out, and they did really well. And then some other bands went on, and then Rock Candy went on and just blew the house away. They were doing like girl band stuff, like Spice Girls or whatever.
Oh, Lord.
And so for like 20 years, my friend's like holding on to this anger at Rock Candy. He even wrote about it. That's how I know about it. He wrote an essay about it. And he was so mad at Rock Candy, and he was like, they had everything going for them. It was so easy for them, and they just took it away from us, and we were the outcasts, and that should have been us, and we lost, and they had everything. They had to take that too. And then he goes 20 years later to his high school reunion, and he sees one of the girls from Rock Candy, and he starts talking to her, and he's like, you know, I've been so mad at you for like 20 years, and she tells him like, oh, it was horrible. Like, my parents used to push me to do Rock Candy. I didn't even want to be in the band. Like, her parents were in the music business, and they were pushing her, and the band was fighting constantly, and there was so much pressure on her for being a quote-unquote popular girl that she felt like she had to keep up with, and it was destroying her inside. And like all this stuff that from the outside seemed like she totally fit in, like she was struggling way more internally than he was. And it like took him 20 years to actually get that perspective from, you know, meeting her 20 years later at this thing. But I kind of feel like we're all no IQ, and we think everybody else is Rock Candy, you know?
That's really relatable, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. I agree.
How so? Like, you want to...
I mean, like, everyone is considered technically an underdog. We all have our own stories. We all have our own struggles. We all have our own aspirations that we want to reach. But someone's always there that's going to be rooting for us. But I feel like we're like no IQ, like everyone is, because no one really should be sorted into a group. We're all different. We're all individuals. We all think differently. We all have different views and different opinions, and we shouldn't be grouped into categories. We should be considered individuals.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like when you put the pressure on yourself to fit into something, you're almost putting pressure on yourself to take away your individuality. So like fitting into your community, fitting into your family, I almost wonder if that's not even a good thing to worry about. And I'm not knocking you for worrying it. Not at all. I get it. But I wonder if you reframed it and like looked at it like, not only don't you fit in, but maybe nobody fits in.
Right.
And not only don't they, none of them fit in, but maybe that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. You know, like maybe it shouldn't be an aspiration to fit in. And it shouldn't also be something to be upset about that you don't. Mm-hmm. And also with your religious community, Babadook, like maybe like you have something that they don't have that you can bring to it instead of like looking at it the opposite way. I don't think it's like that you're deficient in whatever they have. I think it's that you have something special and different that they don't have. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's like a different way to approach it. It's like, and that's, by the way, how I approached religion, because I also come from a religious background, and I went away from it for so many years. And when I came back to it,
you're not fully back to it.
I'm somewhat back to it.
Yeah, you should keep kosher.
Yeah, but when I came back at all, I had a lot of resentment, and I had a lot of like totally feelings of not belonging, and like this is not for me, and I don't relate to these people, and I don't think the way they do, and I don't. And then it dawned on me one day, and it's like I can just make it my own. I can do it my way. Nobody's gonna tell me how to do it. I could do it a way that's meaningful for me, and I'll just do it my way. And then some people kind of gravitated onto my way, like friends of mine. They're like, "Oh, I hated religion, but I like the way you do it." And then they come over for the holidays and stuff, and we kind of do it like our own different way. It doesn't have to. There's no reason to force yourself to quote unquote fit into something. If there's something there that appeals to you, but it's not even being done in a way that appeals to you, do it your way, you know? Just, or if there's nothing there, then do it your way anyway, you know? Just find something that's good for you. I'm talking about what's healthy for you. And you know the difference. Like, everybody knows the difference. But if you could find something that's healthy for you and do it your own way, put your own spin on it, because you don't really relate to the way other people are doing it, you know, whatever that healthy thing is, like, it's not necessarily that you have to like become healthy, quote unquote, in the way that you see other people be healthy. Mm-hmm. You can do it your way too, you know? Like, and you guys are kind of outliers. Like, you're here because you're different, mm-hmm. and that's a good thing, you know?
Right.
Almost when you look around, it's kind of like, you can look at it like, oh man, I'm here like because I did something wrong, or you could be like, oh man, I'm here because I did something right. Maybe you're here because you're special and different in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, it's all in how you frame it too, because this is pretty cool. Like, you know.
The facility itself.
Yeah, but not just the facility, but the things that you can do within the facility. Like, like you have this opportunity to like study yourself in a way. You know, that's like what therapy is. It's like you can study yourself in the way that people like want to study art or something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like people like look at a painting for like years and write essays on it and stuff, and that's like a luxury.
Yeah.
But it's cool because you can sort of study the painting that is you.
Right, so like take the time to kind of figure out yourself and who you are as an individual, yeah?
Yeah.
The Meadow Glade is a rehabilitation center specializing in mental health and eating disorders. Located in Moore Park, California, the Meadow Glade fosters an environment of wholesome healing, supporting the transition back to a self-sufficient, harmonious lifestyle. Offering both outpatient and residential treatment, the Meadowglade works with clients from all over the country, offering optional housing on a private 24-acre estate of rolling hills, secret gardens, avocado groves, and sprawling pastures with horses on site. You or your loved one will enjoy an individualized treatment program with individual and group therapy, along with creative methods like equine and art therapy. Most major insurance plans are accepted, and our program specialists can help you every step of the way. Give us a call today at 888-619-0676 to learn more.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's sticky.
Yeah, that's it?
Sticky wawa.
Just sticky?
Yeah.
Doesn't speak to you at all?
Sticky?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of depressed right now.
Well, let's talk about it.
Let's not.
Why not?
I don't know.
How are you ever gonna get anywhere with it if you don't talk about it?
I don't know. I'm just kind of nervous to go home and everything.
When are you going home?
A week or two.
I can get why you're nervous. You weren't here that long, and so let's talk about it. What are your biggest fears? And
I'm just scared. Like, I was considered a huge slut when I left. I had a really bad name.
by who?
Like everybody, like my whole school and like a lot of guys and stuff. But like I'm just scared to like go home and still have that name, and like a lot of my friends will be kind of upset at me that I only went for like 2-3 weeks to rehab, not for like a few months.
Is it your choice?
What?
Is it your choice?
Yeah.
So why don't you want to stay longer?
Because I don't want to stay longer. It's like annoying to stay so long here.
All right, so let's deal with it as it is. So basically you feel like they're going to judge you.
Yeah.
And they're not going to... Well, what do you think they have right and what do they have wrong? Do they have any points that are correct, or are they just completely wrong? And if they are wrong, why are they wrong?
Who, my friends?
Yeah, the people that you're afraid of judging you.
Well, they're right that I should go for a few months, but like I don't think I can handle staying for a few months.
Well, I think when you put it like that, I don't think anybody can handle it, because it's daunting to put that on yourself. If it's,
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take it week by week.
take it week by week.
Like if this week, once I think it's gonna be easier for me once it's like after 2 weeks, and I know I can go home any day I want.
Yeah.
I'll just like give it one day and another day and another day.
Yeah.
It's exactly what me and my mom were talking about on the phone like 10 minutes ago.
What were you saying?
She said, I was out there crying. I was like, I want to go home. I want to go home. I hate it here. I really don't hate it here. I just want to go home.
Yeah.
She's like, Poodle, you have been here for 4 days. Just take it day by day. Just wake up in the morning, go look in the mirror, talk to yourself. Tell yourself that today's going to be just another day. Just keep going. As the days progress, it'll get easier. I mean, this isn't such a bad place as we think it is. You know, everyone's trying to help us. We just have to, want the help.
Right.
Right.
Let's talk about the other part of it, is worrying about being judged when you get home. I'm tempted to tell you what I think of it, but
What?
you want me to just tell you? I don't think anybody is... I think most people are obsessed with themselves more than you'd imagine. I think most of the time when you're worried about what people think of you, they barely even have an opinion. And the people that do are spending way too much time thinking about somebody else. That's on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how much time do you really think about someone else?
Right.
Not someone you're in love with, Just someone.
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you actually think about just someone?
Right.
None.
None. That's
I don't
probably...
think about like my friends that much.
Yeah. That's probably about how much time they think about you. And, like, if they are someone who is prone to like you, they're probably thinking good things about you anyway.
Yeah.
And if there's someone who's prone not to like you, then they would have been thinking not good things about you anyway. Like, whether it's like, nothing has changed. Like, it's not like, like in politics where there's like people who are like swing voters, like could go one way or another. there's probably not too many like swing voters in your community on you, you know, that are like you're winning over or not winning over. Mm-hmm. People pretty much know you, and they made their mind up. If they like you, they'll forgive you, and if there's a reason to forgive you, or they'll just make forgivenesses for you in their mind because they like you. And if they don't like you, it's probably something about themselves they don't like.
You just blew my mind. Like, with
Get
the
ready
whole...
for it. He blows your mind every single time.
With the whole, like... with the whole, like, I totally lost my train of thought because I just laughed. Oh, God. That happens to me all the time.
It's all right. Happens to me, too.
But I was saying you just blew my mind because, like, because I never really took into consideration that, like, not a lot of people are probably thinking about me right now. Like, I don't think about other people. So, like, why would anyone be thinking about me? Like, who would take the time of day to think negatively about me when it takes time out, right? It just takes time out of their day.
Think about how many millions of dollars publicists get paid to make you think about, like, Katy Perry, and how little you even think about Katy Perry.
Right.
Like, that's, like, so much money in marketing and advertising to make you think about a person. And it's still not that effective. You know, once in a while it'll hit you, but that's because so much money was poured in to make you think. When nobody's pouring money into making someone think about you, right. I don't know. They're probably not thinking about you at all. And if they do, they already know what they feel. I think it's just like we internalize it. We're like, I'm mad at myself about this or whatever. So therefore, everyone must be that mad at me too. It's like, no. Everybody else is worried about their own insecurities and their own responsibilities and their own shortcomings, and they have maybe like 0.0000001% time that they can focus on even thinking about what you're up to.
Right.
That's my feeling. And if anything, when you come out of rehab, it's inspiring to people because they're like, everybody knows a million people that they have said like, that person needs to go to rehab, because people are judgy in that way, you know. So if they're not already on your side, they might be like, that person needs to get their life together. That person needs to go to rehab. And that's about as much as they'll think about that person. But then when somebody actually goes and takes care of themselves, those negative people who are thinking like that, they aren't even able to be negative anymore. They just be like, that person is taking care of themselves. Like, you know, like, what are they gonna say? You know. I'm also
kind of sad because I got into a major fight with one of my close guy friends. Basically, we were friends. Like, here's the deal. Like, we had a really weird relationship. So at first, like, we didn't know each other, and like we shared friends, and then like we went into each other's we're friends on Snapchat, and like I used to like bother him a little bit, so like we were on bad terms. And then one day, basically, I went to his house, and like we like hit it off right away. We were like having so much fun, and then we hooked up. And then every single time after that, like we hooked up like every single time. And then we stopped hooking up, and then we started being friends. And then he one time posted on his story like a picture of one of his friends, and I texted him, "Oh my God, that's my boy." He's like, "How many times?" He said as a joke, like, "How many times did you fuck him?" So I was like, "Not so many times," because I did fuck him, but not so many times. So then he got all mad at me. He's like, "Kay, you're so weird," and he blocked me. And then I saw him a week later, like by one of the restaurants in my neighborhood with a few friends. I was with a few friends. And basically, he came over to me, and we like hugged each other, and we're like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I started screaming at him that he blocked me for like a stupid reason. He's like, "Yeah, but I want to be friends with you." And I was like, "No, I don't want to be friends with you." And he's like, "Can you please be my friend?" And he's like, "Will you be my friend?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess." Kevin, whatever. We ended off on a really good note, and we're like talking, and then basically then he asked my friend for her number, and I was like, "No, you guys cannot have each other's numbers," because basically the friend that I was by, that we went to his house together. The reason we used to be best friends, me and that girl, but then when we both became friends with him, we got into a major fight over him. So I was really nervous that like that would happen with me and that girlfriend, that he was asking for the number.
Okay.
So I was like, no, you cannot give each other their numbers. And he's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna hook up with her. I'm like, and that's not it. Like, I just don't want you to have her number. And then I was like screaming at both of them. And then he like texted me on the plane. He's like, why can't I have her number? I'm like, you just can't have her number. And then he's like, you're such a bitch. Like, why can't I have her number? You know what? Don't even talk to me. Don't even text me. Don't even say hi to me when you see me in the street, because you're such a bitch. Like, you really only care about yourself. I was like, okay, whatever. And then he stopped talking to me, and then I started screaming at my girlfriend. I was like, you know what? The only reason why we stopped being friends is because of you, because he wanted your number. And like, I got into a huge fight with my girlfriend. And then that was like right before I came here. And then like right before I gave him my phone, I texted my girlfriend. I'm like, sorry, I just was in a bad mood, but like, I know it's not really your fault. And she's like, no, it's fine, whatever. And I trust her now that she's not texting him, but hopefully they're not texting each other, because they do have each other's numbers. But that's basically how I got into a fight with one of my guy friends, and now I'm like really upset I'm not friends with him and everything. I mean, he does sound like he has a lot of problems. He's a huge stoner. He like smokes up like, I think like 15 joints a day, which is not normal. He doesn't get high unless he takes at least 5 joints.
Well, I think first of all, I think that's totally repairable. Everything you said, it's not.
No, he blocked me.
Yeah, but it's temporary. People don't block you forever. I've had people that were angry at me for like 4 years, 5 years. I didn't talk to one friend of mine, and then we talk now. Like nothing ever happened. Blocking is just a temporary thing. Blocking is just someone saying, "I need a little space." Mm-hmm. And then that's okay. Maybe you need the space too. Maybe it was good for both of you. Mm-hmm. Maybe like it's something you didn't want because it wasn't you the one. You're not the one. You know that happens sometimes. Like something happens and you're like, I kind of wish I would have done that. Like
Before they did?
Yeah, before they did.
Yeah.
But so it's like a weird feeling because you're like, it is what I wanted, but I wanted to be the one to do it.
Right. You want to be the one to initiate it.
Yeah, you have to be the one to like the person that says like, I don't want to talk anymore. Like, you have to be the person that says,
right.
I don't want to talk anymore.
So what you're really upset about is pride in that case. It's just sort of like, but if you take away the pride element, you still got what you wanted. In a weird way, I feel like you still got what you wanted. I feel like you need the space too. And I think you know that. It's just, you should have been, like, it would have felt better if you could have been the one to initiate it and be like, I need the space. But because he did it, it's like, damn it, you know what? I've been locked out. It's not right. But it's still good for you. It's still what you need right now. And it is like any blocking, it's all temporary. You can mend anything, You can, within reason. You can.
If he's still mad at me, then he has a big problem. Like, whoa, seriously, I don't want you to have one of my friend's numbers. Like that's like okay.
Exactly, which is why I'm saying like, good that you're blocked. Just sucks that you're not the one who did the blocking.
I know. The next time he unblocks me and texts me, I'm gonna block him right away.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that you're upset that you're blocked, because you would block him right away.
Yeah.
It's not like, so you're not even upset about being blocked. You're just upset because like your pride got hurt.
Yeah.
But
I'm really trusting my friend that she's not texting him, but I'm gonna go through her phone next time. I know her password, so I'm gonna go through her phone. Like when she's not expecting.
And what
it.
if she is texting him?
Then I'm gonna get upset at her.
Why?
Because I don't want to have any relationship with that guy.
Because you decided though that you want to be upset with her.
Honestly, she could totally talk to him, but like, I don't know.
That just changed like a lot in 1 second.
I have like bipolar. Like I'm like very like undecisive.
No, I get the way you're.
No, I actually have bipolar. I have pre-bipolar. I was diagnosed.
Yeah, but bipolar or not bipolar, I get where you're going. But
it's just, I don't know. Like I don't know if like if she texts him, I'll just be upset. I'll be like, by the way, I'm upset that you text him. And if she really cares, because I told her if you talk to him, I'm not being friends with you. Like,
this is about respect. This is just about you feeling disrespected.
Right. I'm gonna feel really disrespected this week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, whoa, I thought you respected me, and now like obviously you showed me that you didn't respect me.
But if somebody disrespects you, then what's their respect even worth?
Right. Then what should I do if she texts him? I shouldn't be friends with her?
If she's somebody who's going to blatantly hurt you and go against you and even though she knows it's disrespecting you and hurting you, then you have to make a decision if that person is healthy in your life or not. And if they're not, then why are you continuing to subject yourself to somebody who's hurting you?
Right.
You know? That's a decision for you to make, but I can't make that decision for you. But you have to just start recognizing who's on your team and who isn't on your team. And if they're not, don't take it so personally. Just distance yourself. Block them, you know? Block them because they're hurting you. That's what blocking is good for, you know? And it's just like, just have people around you who care about you, who love you, who make you feel good. And when you get to that point, it's amazing because like all those other people that you were fighting to try and make it work with, they're just gone. And you're like, oh, I guess just everything is good now? It's happened for me. Like, I've had like people who were destructive around me and I kept trying to like change them, but you can't change them. They have to want to change. They have to change themselves. They didn't go to rehab. They didn't go and work on themselves. I can't change, you know, let's say there's things you don't even know, you know? Who knows who is a victim of abuse from who or what and how they're dealing with it. And all of a sudden it's being taken out on you. And now it feels personal. But you don't even know that that person was abused by a family member or an ex or whatever. So all of a sudden, a third party who you don't even know who was abusive is now abusing you through someone else. And you're taking it personally. What does it have to do with you? Nothing. Just cut them off. And then if they get help and they come back and they're like, look, sorry, I was so shitty, you'd be like, okay, you were, but you know, I'm glad you worked on yourself and we can talk now. But keeping people around you who you hope will be nice, it's never going to work. You're just going to keep hoping and in the meantime getting hurt. But keep people around you who are definitely nice, who definitely respect you. You don't have to convince to respect you. Like, that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of the time we put it on ourselves that, like, maybe I'm right. Maybe they're right not to respect me. So maybe I need to, like, prove myself to be respectable. They're not right. It's just a common decency of everyone in the world to respect each other. Not to be judgy and decide, I shall respect this one, but I shall not respect that one. You know, like, what kind of person is that? Just keep people around who are unconditionally respectful, because that's the right way to be. And then you'll feel the love and you won't have to worry about people being deceitful or texting behind your back or trying to hurt you, because you know the people around you are solid, you know? That's what I think.
I agree with you, but it's like super hard to get into that state of mind where you feel that, like, at least for me, where you feel that people around you love you, care about you. I mean, it's super hard for me, at least. I've been dating my boyfriend for almost a year and a half now and still have my doubts if he's cheating on me because I don't think fondly of myself.
Yes.
What they say, you should learn to love yourself before you love anyone else, but I mean...
Sounds good, but I'd say what Babadook said, shticky.
Shticky, right, that's what they say, but I don't think that that's necessarily true in a sense, because I'm not very pleased with myself. That's why I'm here. I'm here to work on myself, but I'm still in a relationship that's healthy and fine, and we both thrive off each other and each other's success and each other's struggles. We help each other through, you know?
Yes. Well, I think that first part, that shticky, it's important, but it's not something like people say love yourself. What are you supposed to do? Flip a switch and all of a sudden love yourself? You have to actually think about what things you love and find them within yourself. You know? People always just say love yourself in the same way people just say you need to lose weight or don't be on drugs. You know, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, I think people need real instructions. Like, how do you love yourself?
Yeah, how do you love yourself?
I'll tell you how. There's two things to it. The first thing is you got to get in touch with the things about yourself that you actually do love. Like, actually being honest. Like, do I love this about myself? There are things you don't love about yourself. So that's the second thing. Stop doing the things you don't love about yourself. And I say stop, I don't just like stop overnight. Work towards stopping. Work towards stopping the things you don't love about yourself. And continue to do the things you do love about yourself more. You know? Because they're there. Everybody has things that they love, right? In general, even if it's not about yourself. I know I've been there too, so don't even feel bad. And I'm probably, you're making me emotional too. But no, it's cool.
It's just really intuitive.
I feel it. I mean, you have things that you love about yourself. They're mixed in with things you don't love about yourself. And sometimes the negative voice, like, wins. All you got to do is start cutting away at the things you don't love. Start doing more of the things you do love. All of a sudden, you tip the scale towards you don't have to make an effort to love yourself. It's just natural because it's logical, you know? It just happens to be that you love yourself because, you know, yourself is full of things you love. Mm-hmm. You know? It's not so abstract. It's not like trying to convince yourself to love someone you don't love. Because otherwise, like, you never get there. Tell someone, love this person. No, I don't love them. You know? Well, love them. Well, they're not my type, you know? So what is your type? You just become your own type. You know? Then you love yourself. Just become your own type. And then you naturally fall in love with yourself. But just telling someone love themselves, it's not. It's sticky. It's sticky.
Sticky means like cool.
I know, but also it means like it's just like a shtick.
It's a Jewish
you know?
word.
It's like it's just a fad, you know. It's a buzzword. You want to talk about what you're feeling?
I don't know. I just like it made me really emotional because I have all this self-hatred for myself, and I beat myself up about it all the time. And I always have people pointing out the good in me, but I just take it and shit on it and don't even like absorb it. It's really hard, you know, to love yourself.
It's crazy, you know. I have this friend. It's very sad he passed away this week.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. It's made me very emotional all week. And he was like a mentor to me too. He was 10 years older than me, and he for a while I worked for him, and for a while he was a comedian and I'm a comedian. He took me under his wing, and I went back when he died a few days ago, and I happened to have the first time we met on video because he was a guest on a radio show I was hosting. And I listened to the way I was talking about myself when I talked to him. And I was just shitting on myself like crazy. I was just so down on myself. I had such low self-esteem. And he kept, and he saw the good in me. And he kept telling me like, I couldn't hear it, you know? He kept saying, no, you're good, you're this, you're that. Good things. And I'd be like, deflecting, just joking about like, no, I'm not, you know? So I totally know what it's like to be there. And it's so weird because that was, I think, 10 years ago when that video was recorded, and I watch it now and I'm like, I want to yell at my younger self, like, listen to him. He's telling you the truth. You should be loving yourself. Like, how did you not get it back then? Like, it's crazy. Like, he saw it. Other people see it in you. You don't see it in yourself. And it's like, how the hell do you ever see it in yourself? And the answer, I've lived it. And the answer is, you have to really become aware of the things you do love about yourself. Not what other people tell you they love about you, because that's not what you love. That's maybe what they love. But there's things about you that you love, and you have to get in tune with what they are. Because loving yourself is so abstract, it's so philosophical, like, who am I, you know? So telling someone love yourself is like very abstract. But telling someone love certain qualities that you already love about yourself, I think that's much more helpful because they're there and start noticing them and you remember them from your childhood and stuff, you're like, shit, I really love that about myself. Like, I love how, like, I could like imagine things and write them down and come up with characters, and I love that about myself. I never would have been able to say that 10 years ago because I wasn't thinking about what I loved about myself. There are things you love about yourself right now, but maybe you're not so in tune with them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not very in tune with loving myself. It's super hard for me to find positives about myself. I don't know, but like lately, I've just been shitting on myself even more than I was before. Because, I mean, I got heavier into my drug use, which caused conflict with my family, which made me gain weight, which made me start binge eating, and it started to spiral out of my control. Now I'm here, and I'm trying to take control of it.
I love it, and you will.
Yeah.
The only thing you need to take control is to want to take control.
Correct. I agree with that. I mean, I know I've been to rehab before. I know that I didn't want to be there before, so I did anything in my power to get out of there. I got myself kicked out. I didn't want it.
You didn't want it last time either, by the way. I always knew that. And I told you that on the last day when you were there. If you go, like, listen to it, I was like, I hope you're, internalizing this stuff, because I felt like you were just like, yeah, whatever. Like you said, anything to get out of here. I was like, yeah, but did you
That's
feel
why
it?
I decided this time that I'm going.
You gotta want it.
No one told me to go. I told myself I'm going.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, like, I think we're at the end here, but for today, but I'm not here next week.
Shoot.
But I'll be here, the week
Why aren't you
after.
here next? Oh, it's holidays.
Holidays, and I'm going to my friend's wedding. I'll be here the week after, though.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will give you guys a homework assignment. It's not daunting at all.
Okay.
You could probably do it 5 minutes before I arrive, but I don't recommend it. You should do it any time before that. Think of, like, 3 things that are organically true about yourself, not that you have to make happen, that already exist, that you love about yourself. Just think of them, that's all. Like I said, you could probably do it in 5 minutes before I get there, but, then you wouldn't have had all 2 weeks to really, like, sit on them.
Take the time, yeah.
But you could do it also 5 minutes after I leave, and then it's done, and then just jot it down somewhere so in 2 weeks from now you have it. But I'm not giving it to you to give you something to do. I'm giving it to you to give you something to think about. Think about 3 things you really love about yourself, even if there's a million things you don't love about yourself. The 3 things that you really do love about yourself, let's try and dig them out of the soot, like figure out what they are, and like just let them sort of like, let them shine a little bit, let them rise, let them sit there with you and be like, oh yeah, I do really love that about myself. Like, come up with 3 in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm proud of both of you. It's amazing that you're here, and it's exciting. And you both want it. So, like, I even can tell such a difference in you this time than last time. Like, I can see it. Like, in a way, it's almost like you're like, you kind of got it beat out of you in a way. You're like, all right, I succumb. I'll try this time. Like, last time, I think it was more like you had to do it, too.
Right.
You had to have last time for this time to exist.
Right.
You had to sort of like try it that way to see. And you said you've also been.
Yeah.
It's like you have to try and see if you can take the shortcut before
Right.
you have to do it the real way.
Right.
Because if you could have just done the shortcut and that would have worked, then why not do the shortcut?
Right.
It's just how your brain, everyone's brain works like that. It's like, why do all the work if you could get away with not doing all the work and get the same result? But when you realize, I guess I do have to do all the work, and you're like, all right, I guess I'll just do all the work, and then you get a better result.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Thank you for listening to Unnoticed Observer, your window into group therapy. Each episode covers a new theme to open the conversation about mental health and offer insight and guidance. New episodes are released every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Join us on your favorite podcast listening app and make sure to subscribe and follow us on Facebook at Unnoticed Observer Podcast for more. And remember, if you or someone you love is struggling with any mood, behavioral, or personality-related matters, there is help.